Welcome to another episode of Get With Us, the show written for, by, and about women over 40.
So, the sixth woman at the table today, it was an episode where we talked about listening to your body and making sure you're making healthy choices.
Yeah.
The sixth woman of that episode was Barbara Williams. Barbara Williams shared with us, I have recently turned 60. People often ask, how do you feel? I can truthfully say I feel good. Not every day, but for the most part, I am blessed. This is a great topic because I hate going to the doctor, but it is a reminder. So I think that's so important. Not only do we give, insightful information about ourselves, but we also just give those little reminders to different individuals that, we need to be doing things for ourselves, like checking up on ourselves, checking up on our spouses. Those are some of the things that we constantly highlight in Get With Us, which is a reason to get with us.
Yeah.
And thanks for your comment, Barbara.
Yes. What's up, Barb? Yes. And today's episode of Get It Together, and Got It Together, is we're going to talk about church cliques. And as we know, cliques are when you have friends and you won't allow other friends or other people to join. So how do you guys feel about church cliques in particular?
Clique.
I know that's an interesting one, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Because it happens. And that's the sad part, that it does. It really happens.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's dependent upon whether your church is small, medium, or large. It really happens that people just gravitate to other people and they form these cliques.
Right. I mean, and Jenny, this is just going to be for a second, but I guess in anything, cliques can form. You know what I mean? In anything where there's congregation that takes place, that you're going to align with individuals that you kind of have more in common with. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that the church will have some cliques in it, just like any other place.
Exactly.
I was going to say I had gone to a ministry where I was contemplating joining.
Okay.
And I went, and they had a meeting. And in going to that meeting, I noticed that there were women over here, there were women over there. They were only talking to one another and not talking per se to us new people who may be interested in become a part of your ministry.
Right.
So I think it's real important that you be careful
Right.
when you're formulating these groups, that everyone feels welcome.
Right.
You're not ostracizing anybody or leaving anybody out or making them feel like they don't belong or they can't belong. They might not fit in.
Yeah.
It's real important that we try to include people instead of excluding people. I mean, I know that it's only human nature, right? That you're gonna click with somebody. Somebody you're gonna attach yourself to. But we have to be real careful and real mindful of others that might want to join your group.
Particularly in the church.
Church.
Because the church is a hospital full of sick people, and if our goal is to be inclusive and to help people to get a better or a more intimate relationship with God, then you don't want them to now feel ostracized because you clicked up with your friends
and possibly not come back. Right.
Exactly.
And that's what happened with me. This is when earlier in my walk. I didn't go back. I didn't go to another meeting. I didn't give it another try. I just was like, oh, I'm over it. I'm not even going to do it. I mean, and I don't know if it has had some impact on me even today in church, the fact that I don't join any ministries, it may have impacted me in that way. And I've been in church and walking with the Lord for a very long time now, and I haven't joined any ministry, so it may have impacted me in that way.
Psychologically. But I'm glad that you said you didn't join that one, but you didn't allow that to hinder your relationship with the Lord. Went and found another church home that you felt comfortable in, because a lot of people, unfortunately, what happens is when they experience that kind of,
ostracism,
hurt, pain, when it comes to church, they don't go back because they attribute that to God. So I don't need to have a relationship. We act just like what we always say. Just like the people
And that's why we're supposed to stand out. We're supposed to stand out. We're supposed to be a peculiar people. We're supposed to be a person that others would want to emulate, because our walk should be so tight with the Lord that even something like that can't deter it.
Right.
And for me, I think God was.
Right. And I mean, even down to the point where, I was going to a church for decades, and, so I would go by myself. Sometimes I would go with, family or whatever. But even when you go to church and you see somebody sitting in the pew by themselves, you know what I'm saying? Just go sit next to them, strike up a conversation, because you just never know that individual is there by themselves. I'm sure they have a lot on their mind. And the fact that they actually stepped out and came by themselves is, it's just kind of a nice way to open the door.
And it's a testament to where they are.
Yes.
And that first step, that's why it's so essential for us to be welcoming when people do come to the church, because we don't know what they had to go through just to get there.
And I'm so glad you said that, Tanya, because our Pastor W. Lonnie Herndon, Church of Christian Compassion. Anyway, he is really stresses the importance of letting people know that we see you, we love you, hello. Just put a smile on your face and say hello to a neighbor. Just turn to your right, turn to your left, and say hi. That is so important that people feel welcome.
Salutations are everything.
They just want to feel welcome. Everybody wants to feel a part of something. You know what I mean? And if it's the church, we really want them to feel a part of it, right?
Our greeters are so important.
You
gotta be careful. The greeters, the people at the door of your church. Because I've been, felt some kind of way with various greeters at a church, and just not looking welcoming, no smiling, telling me where you can't sit.
Oh my God. I was at a church. I know we talk about cliques, but Lord have mercy. I went to church and I had gum, and they just went like this. Didn't say hello, didn't say hello, or,
Wow.
That's appropriate? Yeah, because why would he just come and chew a gum? No, that's bigger than that. It's just the fact of being rude.
Just go like this.
No.
Because what if the pastor's talking and people are trying to pay attention, and then I'm going to say to you, can you put your gum in?
No. If I have something in my mouth, that's rude. Don't do that.
You shouldn't even chew gum in church?
No.
Oh, no, you shouldn't chew.
No, I don't think you should chew.
I wasn't like a horse. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not smacking. I'm not smacking and popping and blowing bubbles.
Wow. I don't think you should.
Well, when you're hungry, look, when you're hungry, you take the first thing you got in your purse. Yeah, that's really.
Chew gum in church.
Especially if you're hungry. Hungry? That's
that makes you
make you hungry.
hungry.
That was fine.
Not even for
But
that.
it doesn't matter. I don't. If I'm new to your church,
If you have
But I understand somebody putting their hand.
that's my person. You upon my person.
Like you
I don't care.
it's not all I have. I'm an adult.
Me too.
I'm coming
Yes.
in.
Yes. Period.
It's my mouth. I
Period.
can have what I want in my mouth
Period.
when I come into any place. But that's
But don't worry about it. I never went back. So.
oh, this is bad.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then
Chew your gum. Chew your gum. Right?
Exactly.
Chew your gum.
No.
we want you back. Chew your gum.
No.
If it's going to deter you from coming, then
Yeah, we just have to be so cautious. I was talking to some individuals, and they were Generation Z, and I was asking them about church because, as you guys can probably notice in your churches, that there's not a whole lot of Z's in most churches. And I was kind of trying to just do a temperature check as to why don't you guys attend church? I know the pandemic has been one thing, but they shared with me that they don't really feel comfortable because the women in church, in their church cliques, it's like them going to the club. So these women go and they get dressed up, they put on their finest attire, and then they hang out with their friends, they stay all day. So the church for the seniors are like the club, and they don't want to be a part of their club. I was like, you gotta be kidding. It's a church club. So, I just felt that so interesting because, the church is where we got our foundation. We were rooted in the church, even though we didn't have, pastor parents or anything like that. But a lot of our foundational learning came from the church. So it's where are the Gen Zs and the Alphas getting this foundation? Because I think, for the most part, millennials are probably, they have spirituality or some knowledge of that relationship. But for Gen Z and alphas, where are they getting their foundation?
Church cliques have hurt
Let us
a
know.
lot of people.
Yeah.
It does. Especially if you're a new Christian,
Yeah, yeah.
new to
It
you.
could be very
Coming into a
fulfilling.
place like that and people are already,
Mhm.
kind of together
Mhm.
and not welcoming. So I'm not saying anything is wrong with people. Nothing's wrong with that. But are we welcoming?
Yeah, yeah.
Individuals
Yeah.
in and loving on them because you
Uh-huh.
don't know what they're
What
coming
they-
out of.
Yes.
And that love is so essential to
yeah.
show.
Yes.
And you at the battlefield.
Yeah, for real.
Front those greeters. The whole
Yeah, yes.
So that right there, if I'm coming in, if I don't feel welcome, or somebody putting their hand up against my mouth and I don't have an understanding of exactly what's going on here.
Exactly.
Or if you feel judged, right? If you feel judged about something you may be wearing, or some kind of hairstyle you have or whatever. If you feel judged in any way, we got to be careful of that too. What does the word say? Judge not lest you be judged. So we have to be
Who is without sin
cast the first stone. And all of us will be like this.
No stone coming here.
But it's real. People are really
Definitely is.
and scarred
Yes.
and have yet to step foot back into a church because of some of those things that happen and go on.
So then it makes me wonder, in the event you feel that and you are, a confident person, you really want to give this church a chance, or, this church is closest to you and you hear the pastor is phenomenal, but some of those individuals inside of the church, we're all human, weren't the nicest, the greeter put the gum in your face, the hand in their face about the gum, or, people side-eyed you because, you had a couple different colors in your hair. What should we tell the audience to do in that case, right? I want to go to this church. I want to give it a try. Like, I hear he is a phenomenal pastor. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and just be like, oh, well, I don't like them because the greeter wasn't nice, right? Because that's kind of not fair to the man of God. And, just as church is a business, you think about it like, if the owner of the business knew that you are being treated this way. This is the way I think about it. It's like, okay, well, I'll be mortified and I'll be apologizing. So at least to me, you give the pastor the opportunity to know about this. So, if nothing more, I would go to the administration and let them know that, wow, I had an uncomfortable experience and I'm sure that wasn't the intention, but when I went to that women's ministry event, they kind of made me feel like I wasn't accepted. I kind of felt like a pick-me when that wasn't the goal. I was coming to try to help. And, I was thirsty because I'm like, somebody please. So, to me, I would say go to somebody in administration and, send the church a comment inside of the Contact Us form just to let them know and then give the place a second chance.
Right. I would definitely,
give them a second chance. Allow them 30 days to read your comment and then maybe go back in and see if you can do it again. Because I just hate the fact of leaving the church.
What if that's their policy? And if you don't agree with it?
Well, if that's the policy, then you did the best you could.
It wouldn't be that. That's right.
Right. Because had I known, because I came from a different church where you were able to, so that's why in my mind I never thought it twice. You know what I mean? Yeah, as far as the chewing gum situation, I came from a church where it wasn't frowned upon. You just, but please just don't stick it underneath the chair, and I wouldn't do that. So
and then I also think it makes me think of it. Give the pastor a second chance. Like, give the pastor a few chances. Like, if you enjoy the message that you're getting, and you feel like he's anointed and he's bringing a good word to you, it touches your soul, touches your spirit, give him a second, maybe third chance. And then once you get more incorporated or indoctrinated in to the church and you feel more comfortable, then you might be able to just tell him yourself. You know what I mean? You might be able to go to him and just let him know yourself. So just give the pastor a chance, and always remember your reason for being there. Your reason for being there is to honor and serve the Lord, not for any of these people, because everybody falls short of the glory of God. And we all are walking this thing out. We're trying our best to walk this thing out, and we're at different levels, right?
That's one of the pastors that I know has like a town hall type thing, for just new members. People are just visiting the church, whereby you can ask questions, and he'll ask you about your experience to church. So I think that's awesome. One, it's a way for him to intimately meet people that's coming into the congregation that he may not know. And then it gives them the comfort in being able to share maybe some of those experiences where, they were not quite sure about, but they get to ask those questions. And I think that's good.
And you know what, too, a lot of the churches also have it where when you become a new member, you get a meeting with the pastor. Like all our church, for example, you get a meeting with the pastor. So everybody that becomes a new member gets to meet the pastor one-on-one, and you get to talk to him. So that might be a time to let him know.
Like if I knew that maybe they would have that option, But thank God I found a wonderful home. Having my bestest church ever. So I'm happy where I am. But definitely. That could have been saying, "Oh, you just was in the wrong spot. You need to be here." Sometimes you gotta take that. And sometimes, it could be a lesson learned saying this just ain't a fit for me. Period. He may be good, but you still have that. And then I'm in an amazing church, E9 tab. So it's amazing the way you can just go ahead and just feel the word and just and just feel comfortable and just loved and feel loved.
That's good.
And it just makes me wonder, with since the pandemic and things kind of moving in a different direction for church, right? And we don't go as often as we used to, just sitting around this table. How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about that missing connection that you had when you were in church? Because I know a lot of people say, the church isn't in the four walls, it's inside of your body. It's not. You can say all those things, right? We can all agree. I have a very strong relationship with the Lord. He loves me. I'm His favorite. However, it's something about coming together in the communion of that, and it kind of makes me loosely associate what's going on in this crazy mixed up world right now. Is part of that from when they locked us in our houses in 2020 and whatever happened to the world, and then they released us, but then we didn't go back to the church anymore. But yet a whole lot of chaos, crazy, and confusion has been going on ever since. And I mean, it literally reminds me of Shadrach, Meshach, and the Abednego, where the fiery furnace was turned up 10 times hotter in the world than it was previously when we went locked in our houses. That now, things are just really turned up, and we don't have that safe space where we went to love and hug on each other and to share a good word and, to worship in the way that was traditional for us anyway.
Right.
So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it really pains my heart. And I, am convicted to now go back to church. And I have to find a church because like I mentioned in other episodes that we actually moved, but I need to find a church home. So I'm going to be going through that whole process that you guys are talking about. We're trying to go somewhere and getting comfortable and seeing what the rules are and hoping they have a town hall, hoping I can potentially meet with the pastor.
All that.
Save your gum for after service.
You may not have to. There are places that allow.
But do you guys feel a disconnect since, the pandemic and kind of now coming out of isolation, but feeling isolated?
Well, you know what? I go to church. I don't go as often as I used to go, but I do go. And I do enjoy, when I don't go, I do watch it every Sunday. So I do enjoy that because a lot of times for me, and everybody's different, sometimes in church is some distractions.
And I feel the opposite.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So
I feel like when I'm watching it on TV, I'm distracted by doing.
And I'm not. Like I can sit there and I can take notes. You know what I mean? I got all my notes. You know what I mean? So for me, it works. I go in, maybe once or twice a month, but then the other time I watch it on TV and I feel just as fulfilled.
Wow.
I do.
Wow. Yeah. And for me, I'm the opposite. I think I'm with Sarita,
Mhm.
I enjoy the fellowship.
Mhm.
I enjoy the spirit, the high spirit of the room.
Mhm.
I enjoy all of the emotion that goes along with being under an anointed pastor, number one, and then other individuals who are being touched by the Holy Spirit. I enjoy that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I once heard somebody say that if you're sitting on a row and somebody gets the Holy Spirit, that energy just transfers all the way down the line. And so that's, for me, that's why I enjoy going into the church house.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy it. I don't like it when I sit home and watch it. I just feel like it's just not the same. I'm not getting what I get from being in the room.
Mhm. Yeah.
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 I think it's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of changes, you know, with attending service and doing it
Shout out for sharing that.
Mhm.
Hit that like button. Let us know, Sharon. But I think that, yeah, you're right. I think that there is a disconnect. There definitely is a disconnect. And the Bible lets us know, you know, forsake not the fellowship and the coming together, being with one another. So there's a power.
Yes.
in
Come on
in
now.
coming
Talk about
together.
that.
You know, and I think people right now have secluded themselves to the place where we are like riddled with fear. And we really have to deal
That
with
comes
that.
from the
It's a
enemy.
mental thing. Yeah, we really got
That
to deal
fear
with
comes
that.
from the enemy.
And even going out to the churches now, you know, a lot of times there's just separation. People are still wearing masks. So it's definitely something different. You know, being able to even just go out and have that fellowship experience.
Yes.
But we should not forsake it. You know, I miss it as well because it is an energy like no other.
It's nothing like it.
Hugging on
It's not like it's nothing
it is
like it.
powerful.
Nothing
When two or
like
three are
it.
gathered together, there it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, Tanya. Yes.
Well, ladies, as you know, the time has come. This has been an amazing segment. Church cliques. I just would impress upon anyone, if you feel like you're a part of a clique, just disband. Disband. Open up your arms and allow some other people to come in. And if you feel like you have been ostracized by a clique or separated by a clique, don't be afraid to share with somebody that, you know, I'm like, this is going on, because I'm sure the pastor would not approve of there being cliques where you feel uncomfortable. So with that being said, let's get into the lightning round. Lightning round. So my lightning round item for this week is just, what am I grateful for? And I know a lot of times, you know, we talk about marriage and how, you know, marriage is challenging and it's complicated and it's difficult and all those things. But I am really grateful for my husband. To have a husband who is able to support whatever my vision is, whatever I desire to do, to be there 10 toes down, cheering me on, is so very, 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 very a blessing to my heart and my spirit. I know that, you know, all men don't support, you know, what their wives are doing. And I have remixed myself into at least 12 or 15 other people. So he loves and appreciates every remix. And for that, I'm grateful. So I'm grateful.
Awesome.
Good.
And mine was, how do I infuse Jesus into my children, I guess.
Okay.
So for me, what I do is I pray with my children constantly. And I just remind them to always take God with them, to put Him first in everything that they do. And I think that is just so important, to just pray about everything, whatever's going on, whatever you have on your heart. Pray about it. So for me, that is so important, and it has carried me through all of these years, and I'm sure that it'll carry them as well. So,
Question about that. So you have boys, and they're a little bit older than my boys are. How receptive are they to that?
very.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys like talk about, you know, different challenges and how they've prayed about them, or do they tell you things and then say, but I prayed about that? You know what I mean? Like, so how do you kind of gauge the receptivity?
They don't, but they are receptive, because I talk to them about it. I ask them, I like, listen, guys, you need to pray about it. And they do. They tell me that they prayed about it. And, you know, so.
Yeah, because I have boys, you know, girls are a little bit different.
They're going forward. So
Yeah,
that's
because
what
we're
they do.
emotional.
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, so.
And I have the scripture of the week, And I chose Matthew 22:37-39, which simply says, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So I always am of the mindset of treating people the way that you want to be treated. If you want to be treated with love and kindness, treat with love and kindness, lead with love and kindness. Let that be your walk. Let that be your challenge today.
Easier said than done, but easier said.
I had the random acts of kindness. And what I wanted to share was what I had kind of encouraged my children to do since they were younger, to always have extra. So if they took lunch, have extra. If they had money, have extra. Because I wanted them to be able to be in a position to bless somebody. And my daughter was the one that she loved doing that. So she always took an extra sandwich to lunch, extra, a whole extra lunch, and being able to share with somebody that did not have lunch. And my grandson now does that. I got extra, my mom. Don't worry. But just being able to be a blessing, it's just to somebody, because you just never know. But they were always in, positions where they were able to be a blessing because they had extra.
And that's perfect, because with food insecurity being so high right now, and kids, a lot of times lunch is their last meal. So, if they have extra, then they can share with somebody, and it may be a kid's dinner. That's really a blessing.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, the latest thing that I've done is that I took on a new chapter of reading. Instead of watching TV so much, I picked up a book.
Nice.
And the latest book by Michelle Obama is The Light We Carry. So I'm super excited to see that, because, of course, we all got the chance to see her when she was here on her Becoming tour. And then we had the Becoming book. So now I'm like, okay, now I even like the title, The Light We Carry. So I'm interested. I'm interested. I have it, so I got to dig deep into, and I'll let y'all know what it's about.
Let us know how it was. Maybe we'll do a Bible study. Let's do a book club.
Right.
If you already read The Light We Share, comment on how it was. So, we can know if it's something worth reading as well. But this has been an awesome episode, and I just want to thank you ladies for being so awesome and so transparent. And I think what we got out of this is, even though a clique is important, because we could be considered a clique, but we're opening our arms of our clique to let you guys know that you are welcome to be a part. So we just want to say thanks for coming together. To get it together, we got it together. Bye-bye.